What's Pappy up to? Well, I'm working on this old winch. Actually want to use it to pull vehicles into my shop when I can't load a ride off the trailer. And that'll be at the end, so stay to the end and see that. We'll see what's inside. I have never worked on one of these. Here we go. Okay, so I've already got the cover off of this, and there's the wiring for the plug-in to run it. I'm going to leave that out to use it for testing with the cover off. And like I said, it's an old Traveler unit, and you can see that rusty release. That's the release handle for freewheeling. It's clogged up, don't work, so we'll tear that apart and see what's inside. As you saw, pretty straightforward, just some screws, a bunch of gears. Had to take the longer screws out, get the motor off to get the last few gears out of there. And then here's the release that we were talking about that's jammed. I noticed I can just unscrew it, so really probably didn't have to take it all apart. Oh well, let's get that apart and just see what we can do with it. And there it is. Yeah, you'll see there's like a little pinhole too there that, or it's actually the pin that held the handle on right there. So that's got to decide what we're going to do with this, but we'll get it apart. And here we are. We cleaned it up, lubed it. It works pretty good. And what happens is that little pin just drops into a ring right inside there. There you go. So you can see that. That was one of the things I had out. First thing that came out. And that locks it in place so that you can run the gears. Right here it's out, and you can see it freewheel. So we'll put it in there, and then I'm going to let you have a chance to see just how this thing works. Watch, it'll click in when I hit the motor. So I'm clicking the motor here shortly and driving the motor, but the gears aren't engaged yet until you see that pin pop, just like that. Now the gears are engaged, so it'll run back and forth. All right, now here's a little test, running it with the motor and the remote. It's going back and forth okay, except it was very intermittent in one direction. So we're going to put a new relay on it. It's pretty straightforward. Here we go. Yeah, you'll see getting this cover on is a little tricky because you got to kind of hold it up in there and get all these connectors on, including the main feeder wires, which you'll see you got to slip them down and feed them in through there. There's a few tricks to it, but all in all, just a bunch of screws and nothing really complicated. New relay works good. Now it's a matter of just kind of playing around with this and deciding what we're going to do for the lock. I don't know if we're going to build a handle for it. In the end, I didn't. What I did is I just drove that pin out a little bit so it would catch. So you just kind of unscrew it. For what I'm using it for, like I said, for in the shop, this is a nice fix. And you can just see again, there's that pin. And so when you back it up, the pin's retracted. You don't got to take it all the way out even. Just back it out far enough to disengage it. So we're all set. We're going to do a test. Okay, for the test, we're going to try pulling my truck in, which is good and heavy. Good test. And then we use these chains. I'm wrapping around the post. And then we'll try pulling them in and see what happens. And then there's the bolts on back, original mounts. That's how we're going to do it. As you can see, I dressed up my best for you for this video. Here we go. There's a little more work for getting all the chains wrapped around it than I'd like. I'll probably make something a little quick release, but first, initially, I try it with a single cable, and you'll see it doesn't even, it struggles. So we double backed it with a pulley, and we pulled it right in. It was a little slow. It worked.